Hello and welcome to the Daily News Simplified, the why, what and how of newspaper reading. Today we will discuss the daily edition of The Hindu newspaper dated 21st June 2018. So let's start. In continuation of our series of discussing the questions that were asked in the preliminary examination in the year 2018 and the topics that were discussed in the DNS and Focus magazine, we will discuss one question today. Now this question reads, the terms WannaCry, Petya and Eternal Blue, sometimes mentioned in the news recently, are related. Now, this was related to a cyber attack that happened in December all around the world. Now, this was covered on 19th December 2017 in the DNS. As you can clearly see, example WannaCry and Petya. Now, this forms a part of the preliminary examination syllabus under the topic Current Events of National and International Importance. Now, this topic was also covered in the recent issue of Focus magazine in the May 2018, as it is clearly mentioned that ransomwares related to cyber attacks are WannaCry and Petya. Now, let us move on to the discussion of the newspaper. The article on page number 9 is related to zero budget natural farming. Now, the article talks about bringing about sustainability in the agriculture or the farming process. For this, it proposes the use of zero budget natural farming. So under this article, we will try to understand what the author has tried to explain. Also, we'll try to understand what zero budget natural farming means and the benefits that arise out of zero budget natural farming. Now, this topic will fall under the General Studies paper 3 in the mains examination under the topic environment and major agricultural and farming systems. Now, such environment friendly farming or agricultural systems are important from prelims point of view as well, because in the year 2012 and in the year 2017, two such questions were asked. In both these years, 2012 and 17, the question was related to zero tillage. So at the end of the article, we'll try to answer these questions as well. Now, to understand the background or the context of the zero budget natural farming, this excerpt has been taken from the Food and Agriculture Organization's website. Now, the FAO website mentions about zero budget natural farming as a case study special to India. That is why it becomes very important for us from the exam point of view. So let us try to understand the context or the background of the zero budget natural farming. So the zero budget natural farming is a set of farming methods and also a grassroots peasant movement which has spread to various states in India. Further, it has attained wide success in southern India, especially the southern Indian state of Karnataka where it first evolved. So the zero budget natural farming first started from Karnataka. Thirdly, the movement in Karnataka state was born out of collaboration between Mr. Subhash Palekar, who put together the zero budget natural farming practices, and the State Farmers Association of Karnataka, that is the Rajya Rayata Sangh. Now, why was zero budget natural farming considered or introduced in the first place? Now, Indian farmers were increasingly finding themselves in a vicious circle of debt because of high production cost, high interest rate for credit, volatile market prices of crops, rising costs of fossil fuel based inputs, and private seed. So in short, the cost of farming is increasing in India, which is leading to a vicious cycle of debt. Now, due to this, a deep agrarian crisis has started in India, which is making small-scale farming an unviable vocation. Now, it is in this context that zero-budget natural farming becomes important and has been introduced in some states in India. Now, zero budget means without using any credit and without spending any money on purchased inputs. And natural farming means with nature or without chemicals. So in this type of farming, minimum or no credit is used and the methods used are natural without the use of chemical fertilizers or pesticides. Now let us understand the key points that are explained by the author here in this article. Now Andhra Pradesh CM Chandrababu Naidu has announced that the state would fully embrace zero budget natural farming, that is a chemical free method that would cover all farmers by 2024. Now further the author says that this type of farming will ensure improved welfare of farmers, reduction in the cost of farming inputs, it will cut the toxins in the food and it will also lead to an improvement in the soil quality. Further, the Raitu Siddhakara Samastha agency that is implementing the zero budget natural farming in AP plans to cover about 5 lakh farmers in the first year. And by 2021-22, every panchayat and full coverage of the state by 2024. Now for this, the Andhra Pradesh government would require about rupees 16,500 crores for this program. And for this, the government of India provides funding through its Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana and the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. For this, the author says that farmers' collectives such as the farmer producer organizations need to be established and these would be critical to sustaining the program. So regarding the program started by the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, the author has explained various aspects, how it will be beneficial and what are the key aspects that need to be taken care of while implementing the zero budget natural farming. Now Mr. Subhash Palekar, who developed the zero based natural farming, has identified four aspects that are now integral to this process. He further says that the zero based natural farming will require locally available materials. Now this will include seeds treated with cow dung and urine. Secondly, soil rejuvenated with cow dung, cow urine, and other local materials to increase the microbes. Thirdly, the cover crops, straw, and other organic matter to retain the soil moisture and build humus. And finally, soil aeration for favorable soil conditions. Further, he says that these methods are combined with natural insect management methods when required. So, the four aspects that are now integral to the process of zero budget natural farming are usage of locally available materials such as seeds treated with cow dung and urine, soil rejuvenated with cow dung, urine, and other local materials, use of straw and cover crops to retain the soil moisture, and soil aeration for favorable soil conditions. And all these methods are combined with natural insect management methods. Now, this process uses only naturally available materials, and under this process, least investment is required, that is, input costs are minimum because it is using materials which are available locally and with very less or minimum cost. That is why it is called zero base, or that is why it is called zero budget natural farming. Now, the benefits of zero budget natural farming that have been highlighted by this article are that first, in zero budget natural farming, yields of various cash and food crops have been found to be significantly higher when compared to chemical farming. Secondly, input costs are near zero as no fertilizers and pesticides are used. Thirdly, profits in most areas under zero budget natural farming were from higher yield and lower inputs. Fourthly, the model zero budget natural farming farms are able to withstand drought and flooding, which are big concern with regard to climate change. And finally, the planting of multiple crops and border crops on the same field has provided varied income and nutrient sources. So, some of the major benefits are that the yields are high as compared to chemical farming, input costs are near zero, profits are higher, and the model zero budget natural farms can withstand drought and flooding, which are the biggest concern in due to the climate change. And further, the planting of multiple crops and the border crops, that is, the crops which are planted at the farm boundary on the same field, has provided varied income and nutrient sources as well. The author has finally concluded by saying that as a result of these changes, there is reduced use of water and electricity, there is improvement in the health of farmers, it has helped in improvement of the local ecosystems and biodiversity, and no toxic chemical residues have been found in the environment. Andhra Pradesh is one of the top 5 states in terms of farmer suicides, and adoption of zero budget natural farming may address this problem as well. So the author says that by the adoption of zero budget natural farming, the farmer suicide in Andhra Pradesh can come down, and also it will be environmentally and ecologically beneficial way of farming. Now that we have understood certain basic aspects of zero budget natural farming, you should try to answer this question from the mains examination point of view. Now, zero budget natural farming becomes important from preliminary point of view because previously many questions have been asked upon environment friendly methods of agriculture. Now, in the year 2012, the question that was asked read, consider the following agricultural practices: contour bunding, relay cropping, and zero tillage. In the context of global climate change, which of the above helps or help in the carbon sequestration or storage in the soil? Now, the correct answer to this question was B, that is 3 only. Another question was asked in the year 2017. This question read, which of the following practices can help in water conservation in agriculture? The statements were reduced or zero tillage of the land. This statement was correct. Applying gypsum before irrigating this field. This statement is wrong. And third, allowing crop residue to remain in the field. This statement is also correct. So the correct answer in this case was C, 1 and 3. Also, in the recently held prelims in the 2018, a question was asked, with reference to the circumstances in Indian agriculture, the concept of conservation agriculture assumes significance. Which of the following fall under the conservation agriculture concept? Now, in this case, the correct answer is C, that is 2, 4 and 5. These include adopting minimum tillage, using crop residues to cover soil surface, And finally, adopting spatial and temporal crop sequencing or crop rotations. Now, since zero tillage has been asked previously in the preliminary examination, let us understand what zero tillage means. Now, the basic advantages and features of zero tillage have been taken from the FAO website, that is Food and Agricultural Organization. So, the basic features of zero tillage or conservation agriculture are: first, crop residues are distributed evenly and left on the soil surface. Secondly, no implements are used to turn the soil over. Further, a specialized technique is used for weed control. Fourthly, crop rotation is fundamental to zero tillage. And finally, soil erosion is reduced by about 90% and soil biological activity and biodiversity are maximized. So these are the key points that need to be kept in mind related to zero tillage. And regarding the 2018 prelims question, which asked about the conservation agriculture, the FAO says that there are three principles of conservation agriculture. These include: first, minimum mechanical soil disturbance, that is no tillage or zero tillage, through direct seed or fertilizer placement. Secondly, permanent soil organic cover, that is at least 30% with crop residues or cover crops. Thirdly, species diversification through varied crop sequences and associations involving at least three different crops. So these are the three important principles of conservation agriculture, which was asked in the year 2018. With this, let us move on to the next article. The article on page number 2 is related to Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan by the Rajasthan government. Now it is important because due to this scheme, the ranking of Rajasthan has improved considerably in the Composite Water Management Index by Niti Aayog. Now this topic will fall under the General Studies paper 1 under the topic Geography and under the subtopic Resources. Now previously in the year 2015, a question was asked in the paper 1 which was related to the water scarcity. We have already discussed about the Composite Water Management Index by Niti Aayog in the 15th June DNS and the 18th June DNS. So you can go through the basics of the Composite Water Management Index by Niti Aayog. And under this article, we will try to understand the key features of Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan, its basic objectives, and we will also learn about another important water conservation scheme by Government of India, which is known as the Jal Kranti Abhiyan. The Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan is important because Rajasthan has shown an improvement in its ranking in the Composite Water Management Index by Niti Aayog. It has improved its ranking from 13 in 2015 and 16 to 10th in 2016 and 17. This has been mainly possible because of states' emphasis on the restoration of irrigation potential of water bodies and revival of the traditional water resources. Other than this, the Rajasthan government has also expedited the ambitious Eastern Rajasthan Canal project to interlink the three major rivers in Rajasthan. Now these three rivers are the Kali Sindh River, the Gambhiri River and the Parbati River. Let us understand some basic facts related to these rivers. The Parbati River is the tributary of Kali Sindh, and this Kali Sindh is in turn a tributary of Chambal River. And the third river is the Gambhiri River, which flows through the Chittorgarh district of Rajasthan. Now this improvement in the ranking of Rajasthan has been because of the Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan that was launched in the 2016. Now it has helped restore most of the irrigation potential of identified water bodies, and this has been largely through the community managed ponds and tanks. Now the importance of Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan can be gauged from the following points. This program has been appreciated by the National Green Tribunal. Further, the Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan has performed extremely well in the Pratapgarh district of Rajasthan. Also, this project has been approved for funding under the National Adaptation Fund for Climate Change by the National Steering Committee on Climate Change under the Ministry of Environmental, Forest and Climate Change. So Rajasthan has shown improvement under the rankings under the Composite Water Management Index by the Niti Aayog. And this has largely been possible because of the Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan and the Eastern Rajasthan Canal project. Now that is why the Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan becomes very important for us. Now the features of the campaign include: first, making villages self-sufficient in water and creating islands of excellence. Second, it will be a 4-year program and each phase will be of 1 year. Thirdly, it is launched in 295 blocks of 33 districts of Rajasthan. Further, it will be implemented through people's participation, and the mobilization of financial resources will be from multiple sources. These include the line departments, NGOs, corporate houses, religious trusts, non-resident villagers and social groups, etc. Further, it will deploy the use of technology as well. And finally, the construction of low-cost water harvesting structure which will be based on watershed approach. Now let us have a look at the basic objectives of Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan. The main objectives of Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan are that: first, emergence of self-water reliant villages; second, increase in the groundwater level and availability of surface flow in the mainstream of watershed and availability of drinking water. Third important objective is the increase in irrigated area and cultivable area and crop production. Fourthly, It also aims at change in the cropping pattern. Change in the cropping pattern means introduction of drought resistant species. And finally, it aims at reduction in the suspended sediments in the flowing water of the main streams and reduction in depletion of groundwater. So the basic objectives are emergence of self-reliant villages, increase in groundwater level, increase in irrigated area, change in cropping pattern, and reduction in the suspended sediments in the rivers. Now we have studied the Jal Swavalamban Abhiyan. A similar campaign has been started by the central government or the government of India. Now this campaign is known as the Jal Kranti Abhiyan. It has been started by the Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation. It was started in the June 2015. So the basic objectives of Jal Kranti Abhiyan are that it is an initiative to consolidate water conservation and management through a holistic and integrated approach in which all the stakeholders are involved and with an objective to make it a mass movement. So the government aims at making Jal Kranti Abhiyan a mass movement through the people's participation. Further, the Jal Kranti Abhiyan will include use of modern techniques along with the traditional wisdom for increasing water security. The other objectives include encouraging conjunctive use of surface and groundwater, creation of additional facilities for water conservation through construction of water harvesting structures, widespread program for rainwater harvesting. It will also aim at motivating the villagers for the participation in the water related schemes and also the cost sharing by the community. This will be done in order to instill a sense of belongingness and accountability. So the Jal Kranti Abhiyan aims at using modern techniques along with traditional wisdom of increasing water security. Further, it aims at creating water harvesting structures and also it aims for a widespread program for rainwater harvesting. It also aims at motivating villagers for their participation in the water related schemes and also cost sharing by the communities included in the main objectives of Kranti Abhiyan. Now this is being done in order to instill a sense of belongingness and accountability in the people of that area. Now the activities that are proposed under the Jal Kranti Abhiyan are first the Jal Gram Yojana, secondly the development of modern command area, pollution abatement and massive awareness program. So massive awareness program is one of the main objective of Jal Kranti Abhiyan. So we should understand the basic facts related to Jal Kranti Abhiyan also. So the ministry which has started Jal Kranti Abhiyan is important for us from the prelims point of view. And further, one should be aware of the objectives of the Jal Kranti Abhiyan. Now in the previous DNS videos on 15th and 18th June, we had understood the gravity of the water crisis in India. And under this article, we have understood the initiatives that are taken by various governments, that is the union government and the state government, for handling the situation of water crisis. So by this, we have understood various aspects of water scarcity in these three videos. So you should try to answer this question which was asked in 2015 in the mains examination. With this, let us move on to the next article. The news article on page number 5 is related to Pattiseema scheme in Andhra Pradesh. Now it is a scheme related to the interlinking of river Godavari and Krishna. Now this forms a part of preliminary examination syllabus under the topic Indian Geography. However, it was also a part of current events in the year 2016. So in the year 2016, a question was asked that recently linking of which of the following rivers was undertaken. So the correct answer in this case was Godavari and Krishna. So we will try to understand some basic facts related to this Pattiseema scheme, its various benefits that are arising out of Pattiseema scheme and various concerns that are being raised. Now about the Pattiseema scheme is a lift irrigation project which interlinks Godavari and the Krishna rivers through the Polavaram right canal. Now as can be seen in the map, it connects the Godavari with the Krishna river through the Polavaram right canal. Here is the location of Pattiseema. Secondly, the canal traverses for 174 kilometers through West Godavari and Krishna districts in Andhra Pradesh. West Godavari and Krishna district are here on the map. Now another important fact is that it is a temporary project because once the Polavaram dam is completed, the right canal will be linked to the dam. And Pattiseema is the first project to be completed under the revised National River Interlinking Project. Andhra Pradesh has earlier also interlinked some of the rivers which include the Tungabhadra and Pennar through the Kurnool-Kadapa canal and the Krishna with the Pennar river. Now as mentioned in the article, Tungabhadra has been linked to Pennar. This can be seen in the map here. Tungabhadra is here and Pennar is here. Now they have been linked by the Kurnool-Kadapa canal. Further, Krishna has also been linked to the Pennar river. Now in this map, we should notice that Tungabhadra is the tributary of Krishna river. However, Pennar is an isolated river which drains into Bay of Bengal. It is not the tributary of Krishna river. So the important points are that Pattiseema is a lift irrigation project. It interlinks Godavari with Krishna through the Polavaram right canal. It is a temporary project. Further, it is the first project to be completed under the revised National River Interlinking Project. And Andhra Pradesh has earlier also interlinked some of its rivers. These include Tungabhadra with Pennar and Krishna with the Pennar, as we can see in the map here. Now about the benefits of this scheme, The Pattiseema is largely beneficial to farmers in the Krishna Delta. This is because 13 lakh acres spread over Krishna, Guntur and Prakasam district is likely to be irrigated because of this scheme. Further, the Andhra Pradesh government proposes to divert some of the water it saves from the Krishna river reservoirs, that is the Nagarjun Sagar and Sri Salem, to the dry Rayalaseema region. So the AP government also proposes to divert some water from the Krishna reservoirs to the dry Rayalaseema region. However, there are certain environmental and other costs related to the Pattiseema scheme. Now, these concerns are first, this scheme may prove to be harmful to the environment because interlinking of river is fraught with ecological loss. Since the river may have different environments, mixing water may affect aquatic life. Further, the new canal will recharge the groundwater more than what is required. This will lift the water table abnormally and will cause the damage to the root system of plants and crops all along the canal. Further, there are fears of flooding in the Pattiseema region. Further, the farmers in West Godavari district, that is the West Godavari district, fear that the water in Godavari Delta will get reduced because most of the water will be diverted to the Krishna river. Now, most of the points that we have discussed here are important from the preliminary point of view. Because previously in the year 2016, in the prelims examination, a question was asked related to this Pattiseema scheme. With this, let us move on to the next article. The news article on page number 3 is related to shifting of tigers from Madhya Pradesh to Odisha. Now, this will fall under the preliminary examination syllabus under the topic Environment and Ecology. Now, this is important because it is for the first time in the country that tigers are being shifted from one state to another. Now, this is also important because in the year 2017, a question was asked related to the translocation of lions from their natural habitat in Gujarat. Now, in this case, the correct answer was B. That is, the lions are being shifted to Kuno Palpur Wildlife Sanctuary. Now, in this case, the tigers are being shifted from Madhya Pradesh to Satkosia Tiger Reserve in Odisha. And a total of 6 tigers are being shifted from MP to Odisha. And the first such tiger is being shifted from the Kanha Tiger Reserve. So under this, we will try to understand the geography of the Satkosia Tiger Reserve, and we will also try to solve similar questions that have been asked previously on these topics. Now we will look at some basic facts related to the Satkosia Tiger Reserve. The Satkosia Tiger Reserve falls in the state of Odisha. As we can see in the map, the Satkosia Tiger Reserve is located in the Angul district in the state of Odisha. Another important fact related to Satkosia Tiger Reserve is that the river Mahanadi passes through this tiger reserve. Also, the location of the tiger reserve is at the 22-kilometer long gorge formed by the river Mahanadi in the eastern Ghats. As we can see in the map, the river Mahanadi passes through the Satkosia Tiger Reserve. The major plant communities of Satkosia Tiger Reserve are the moist deciduous forest. And the important plant of this tiger reserve is the sal tree. In the year 1976, Satkosia Wildlife Sanctuary was created, and in the year 2007, Satkosia Tiger Reserve was created. This tiger reserve includes 2 wildlife sanctuaries. They are the Satkosia Wildlife Sanctuary and the Baisipalli Wildlife Sanctuary. So we have learned that the tigers are being relocated from Madhya Pradesh to Satkosia Tiger Reserve in Odisha. The location of Satkosia Tiger Reserve is in Angul district in Odisha. The famous river that passes through Satkosia Tiger Reserve is the river Mahanadi, and it is located at the 22-kilometer long gorge formed by the Mahanadi in the eastern Ghats. The flora of the Satkosia Tiger Reserve is moist deciduous forest, and the important tree is the sal tree. Satkosia Wildlife Sanctuary was created in the year 1976, and in the year 2007, Satkosia Tiger Reserve was created. This tiger reserve includes 2 wildlife sanctuaries. The first is the Satkosia Wildlife Sanctuary and the second is the Baisipalli Wildlife Sanctuary. Another important fact related to the Satkosia Tiger Reserve is that it is a meeting point of 2 biogeographical regions of India. These regions are the Deccan Plateau and the Eastern Ghats. Now, from prelims point of view, this topic becomes important because previously in the year 2014, a similar question was asked, and in the year 2017, a similar question was asked based on the link between the Eastern Ghats and the Western Ghats from the ecological point of view. With this, let us move on to the next article. The article on page number 9 is related to beating the plastic pollution. The article further says that the focus must be on waste management and recycling. Now, this topic will fall under the General Studies paper 3 of the mains examination under the topic conservation and environmental pollution. Now, plastic pollution as a topic for mains examination is important because this year's World Environment Day, which is celebrated on 5th June, had its theme as Beat the Plastic Pollution. Further, the Earth Day, which is celebrated on 22nd April, its theme was spreading awareness about the pollution caused by plastic and the need to eventually end its use. So, due to these major events which have the theme as plastic pollution, this topic becomes very important from mains point of view. Now, we have already covered various aspects of plastic pollution in a previous DNS. So, let us try to revise this. The World Environment Day is celebrated on June 5th. It is an important date from Prelims point of view. Now, the theme of this year's World Environment Day was Beat the Plastic Pollution. It says that India produces about 25,000 tons of plastic waste. Now, there were many important events that were celebrated yesterday. And in these events, Prime Minister highlighted the need for effective plastic waste management. And he said that an unclean environment hurts the poor and the vulnerable the most. Further, a delegation of European Union embassies adopted a green pledge on this day. They issued a statement to discontinue the use of plastics, including plastic straws, stirrers, cups, water bottles, in their embassies and switch to eco-friendly material. These plastic articles which are mentioned here are actually known as single-use plastics. Further, the Mumbai airport had decided to switch from imposing fines on those who litter to using witty signage boards. Now, this is an effort to generate awareness and to bring about a behavioral change. Also, Tamil Nadu government has said that it would be banning the manufacturing, storage and use of plastic products. So the key points that emerge from this article are that World Environment Day is celebrated on June 5th. The theme of this year's World Environment Day was Beat the Plastic Pollution. Also, this is the data which can be used for the mains examination, that India produces 25,000 tons of plastic pollutants. The statement of Prime Minister in this regard is also important from mains point of view, and it can be used in any of the answers which are related to environment, or a question can be asked about how unclean environment hurts the poor and the vulnerable the most. Further, this can be used about highlighting the importance of behavioral change and not just about putting fines on each and every activity of pollution. The editorial on page number 8 analyzes India's framework to discourage the use of plastics. So let us have a look at it. The editorial says that the solid waste management rules and the plastic waste management rules of 2016 are actually not being implemented and mostly they remain on paper only. Further, the editorial says that the state governments have showed little concern towards the single-use plastics like straws and stirrers, etc. Now, according to government's estimate, about 60% of the 25,000 tons of plastic waste is being collected daily. Now, this means that about 10,000 tons of the trash is being released into the environment and a lot of it is going into the sea. Further, the Ganga, Brahmaputra and Meghna river system is actually on the UN map for polluting the oceans by the plastic pollution. And the effects of plastic which finds its way into sea are that they threaten marine life and the well-being of people, as microplastics are now found even in drinking water. So the key points that emerge out of this are that solid waste management rules and plastic waste management rules of 2016 are not being implemented properly. Secondly, the state governments have not shown any concern towards the single-use plastics like straws and stirrers. Also, most of the plastic waste that is generated daily is finding its way into seas and oceans. India's major river system, the Ganga, Brahmaputra and Meghna rivers, are adding to the plastic pollution into the oceans. And finally, the microplastics and plastics have adverse effect on marine lives and they are finding their way into drinking water as well. The editorial highlights some of the issues with the plastic management framework of India. Now, the article says that the plastic waste management rules actually require the manufacturers of compostable bags to get a certificate from the Central Pollution Control Board. Now, despite these rules, counterfeit products are entering into market. That is, they are not complying with the plastic waste management rules. Also, the editorial highlights that local bodies which are actually mandated to manage the plastic waste have not been successful in fulfilling their responsibilities. Further, the state level monitoring committees that are provided under the rules have not been made accountable till date. So these are some of the issues with the plastic waste management rules that have been highlighted in the editorial. The editorial further provides that what should be done to manage this haphazard situation. So we will have a look at it. The editorial finally concludes that it should be ensured that the Environmental Protection Act 1986, which is the overarching law that enables anti-pollution rules, be issued. And once the rules are issued, they should be implemented in letter and spirit. Further, the editorial says that regulations should stop the manufacturing of single-use plastic articles, for example, the carry bags or cutleries, and it should encourage the use of biodegradable materials. So the editorial highlights India's framework related to the use of plastic, and it also analyzes the gravity of the plastic pollution situation in India. Further, the editorial analyzes some of the issues with the present framework, which is related to the management of plastic waste. And finally, the editorial provides what needs to be done to solve this situation. Now, since World Environment Day has been celebrated in India, let us also have a look at how the Constitution deals with the issues of environment. Now, the preamble to our Constitution ensures a socialist pattern of society, and it also talks about the dignity of individual. So, through this, the decent standard of living and pollution-free environment becomes inherent to us. So, the preamble indirectly talks about a pollution-free and a clean environment. The Article 51AG, which is actually a fundamental duty, also says that it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to protect and improve the natural environment, including the forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. Thus, the fundamental duty explicitly talks about a clean and healthy environment. The Article 48A, which is actually a directive principle of state policy and was added to the Constitution by the 42nd Amendment, says that the state shall endeavour to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. So, the fundamental duty talks about the roles and responsibilities of citizens towards the environment, while the 48A, which is the DPSP, talks about the role of state in conserving the environment. Now, the Article 21, which deals with life and personal liberty, now its scope has been enhanced by Supreme Court in the case of Mangal Gandhi versus Union of India. The Supreme Court treated the right to life in pollution-free environment as a part of the fundamental right to life under the Article 21. So the Supreme Court has enhanced the scope of Article 21 to include clean environment. Now, as far as the local bodies are concerned, the panchayats under the 11th schedule have been empowered under the Constitution to take measures such as soil conservation, water management, forestry, and protection of environment and promotion of ecological aspects. Also, under the 12th schedule, the urban municipal bodies have the responsibility for providing public health, sanitation, conservation, and solid waste management. They have also to deal with the urban forestry and protection of environment and promotion of ecological aspects. As far as Constitution is concerned, the environmental issues have been dealt with explicitly under the Articles 51A, 48A, Article 21, and under the panchayats and municipal bodies in the 11th and 12th schedule. And it is also mentioned implicitly in the preamble because it tries to create a socialist society, and it also provides for dignity of individual. Now, previously in the mains examination, questions have been asked related to plastic hazards in the year 2002 and in the year 2005. Now, a question can be asked about India's framework in dealing with the plastic pollution. This has been discussed in the present article. Also, in the prelims in the year 2014, a question was asked related to the Earth R. Now, the correct answer to this question was option C, because the Earth R is not an initiative of UNEP and it is an initiative of the World Wildlife Fund. Similarly, the points that are important from prelims point of view with respect to the World Environment Day celebrations are that it is celebrated on 5th June. The present year's theme was Beat Plastic Pollution, and it is an initiative of UN General Assembly and was started based on the Stockholm Conference of 1972, which deals with integrating human interactions and the environment. With this, we have come to the end of today's discussion. Now let us move on to the question for the day.